accurately, what about during a round? So let's say the front nine, they score really well, but let's say they're 4 under going into the turn. And then all of a sudden they're making a streak of bogeys, just mistake after mistake after mistake. Um, is there things that you might suggest an athlete to do to practically get to neutral or kind of get out of that? Like I'm starting to go down the snowball effect and I can't seem to get out of it. Just curious, and I'll banter as well. I mean, I have my own thoughts, but
yeah. So something that I've been doing at Pepperdine is encouraging our athletes to figure out what a quote unquote reset button is for them. And in sports psychology, we call that, cues or triggers or whatever the case may be. The analogy that I use, hey, we want when an athlete, especially on the golf course, starts playing poorly or not up to their standard and is hitting a bunch of bogeys in a row, that can cause the mind to start rushing. And we want them to play fast, we want them to play well, but when athletes feel rushed, that's when mistakes happen in any sport, baseball, basketball, golf. Again, we want them to play fast, but not rush. And so if those rushing thoughts come, what is a reset button for that athlete to just take a moment, call a timeout, take a deep breath and reset? Okay, now approach this shot like nothing, like in not thinking about your previous 9 holes or what's coming up next. Just be present in the moment. And each athlete has their own reset button, if you will. So some of our guys, they're like, oh, I'll readjust my glove, or I'll close my eyes and take a deep breath, or kind of stare at the skyline at whatever course that they're at, or stare at the lake if they're at the lake, so on and so forth. And so really encouraging. And the cool thing about that is they can have as many reset buttons in their toolbox as they want. So if one's not working that day, they can go to another reset button that works for them. And so again, I think the goal of that is to stop the mind from rushing and inevitably feeling pressure in those moments, so they can return to neutral, take a deep breath, and approach the next hole in the present moment.
Yeah, that's so when I'm teaching a lot of my golfers, exactly just like that, like Dr. Matt said, you rinse it off and repeat that process, right? And I see a lot of players when we're on the lesson tee, they'll hit one, they'll rake one over, hit it. Oh man, what was that? What did I do there? And then I said, just come on, let's just keep going, keep warming up. You're fine. We'll get into it in a minute. And they overwhelm themselves with all these thoughts going on. And I just said, hey, come back here for a second and just close your eyes for a couple seconds and just what do you hear? What are 2 or 3 things you're hearing right now? What are you visualizing out there? Are you, just focused on the process? Or are you focused on, all these negative thoughts? And I said, why don't you just take a couple deep breaths in, count to 4, breathe out for 6, and walk into that shot as confidently as you can and see that ball flight to a nice balanced finish. And I do see that a lot, and I love that reset button that you said there. That really clicked with me.
Spot on.
I like that you brought in the confidence piece, right? And so we're kind of doing multiple things at once with our athletes. If you are unconditionally confident, you're going to know to go and reset and choose to be unconditionally confident and step to that next swing in the present moment.
I have a question. Do you have any advice for me at the end of the round, whether it's a good or bad round, whether I should play more after or just rest for the day and reflect on what I did? Do you have any advice on what I should do?
Yeah, absolutely. And this will sound very therapist-y of me, but I think it depends on the day, right? And I think listening to your gut, listening to yourself, there may be some days where, man, that was a bad round. Let me go hit a little bit more. And there may be other days that hey, that was a bad round. I'm over today. Let me go take a break and come back tomorrow, allow that length of time to act as your reset button, and you can get back out there to do what you do. And so listening to your gut, listening to how you're feeling, there's no right or wrong answer, but there's always going to be a what's best for Eno answer, if that makes sense.
I love when you sound therapist-y, by the way. I'm all for it.